All right, so we're here talking about football before the football free agency for us starts, which is going to be on the 1st, which is Friday, I believe. So I got my two football NFL experts here to talk about what teams they feel are going to do good, bad, and whatever they think just happens to be interesting to them. So let's start with the one that's going to be bad. Whoever wants to start.
Honestly, if I look at NFL teams, one team I think that, I mean, they're going to have a lot of new pieces in it is going to be Seattle. You don't really know what you're going to get with it. I mean,
Yeah,
you might take a chance on them, but you're probably not going to get any value out of them.
yeah. I mean, they had 10 wins last season. I don't foresee them hitting that 10 win season. So yeah, I definitely think they're one of the teams that are going to fall. And another one pains me to say is the Vikings had 14 wins last year. I don't think they're going to come near that 14. They just with a new quarterback, um, unless he's going to be outstanding, which I don't see. I mean, he's coming off knee surgery and didn't get a chance to play his rookie year, so I don't see them getting near that 14 win total. I think they are 9-10 win team this year. So unfortunately, it pains me to say because I'm a Vikings fan, but I think they do fall from that 14 wins from last year.
I'm sorry that it pains for you to say that, but I'm smiling ear to ear. So I'm glad that it came from a division rival's mouth than mine. So as a Packers fan, I will take that every day.
Well, we were doing the pickup league, and he was avoiding it like the plague, so he wouldn't take the Vikings for anything. He was just like, no, no Vikings, no Vikings. It's your favorite team. No, I don't want it. Okay.
Yeah, it's I mean it's going to be. I mean, you never know. It could happen. It's the NFL on teams that come out of it. But yeah, I agree with Anthony on with having that new quarterback, and I think they have expectations that shouldn't be this year. I don't know. Maybe it's more of the fans than anything, but I think they're more of an I wouldn't say a rebuild, but they have Justin Jefferson, so they have one of the best receivers in the NFL. Problem is, what do they have around that?
Hmm. Okay. So then, what teams do you think is going to go, that's on the bottom, is going to go up? And don't worry, I mean, we can talk about this, like, you don't want to give away your secrets or whatever. I get that.
I don't. I mean, I don't know how much money I would put into them, but from what happened with Seattle, I think the Raiders might be a surprise.
Man, I say that
Unfortunately,
like
they're in
every
a
year, the
division
Raiders.
with
I got that from Anthony a couple of years ago when we were doing our pick 'em. He's like the Raiders, and then they just.
yeah, but they with Pete Carroll now as their coach, they took Geno Smith with that. They had a young defense. The problem is, yeah, with them being with the Broncos, who are young, the Chiefs have always found ways to win. There's sometimes in watching it, I don't know how they win that many games, but that's the problem. Is that's the risk of that, but I think they're going to do better in what they did.
Yeah, I agree with that. And then sticking in that same division, San Francisco only won 6 games last year. I think this year it'll be a rebound year for them. I think they'll get close to that 10 win season. So I think San Francisco is definitely going to have a lot better year than they did last year.
Somebody's already got them.
Yeah, I would agree with that. They were a big disappointment on drafting them in another league, and unfortunately that didn't pan out because they were projected to be a lot higher than that.
Just kind of a side note. What did you guys think about the trades?
Uh, just in seeing it, that was kind of an extreme of the two top teams, but I'm not surprised just on making that trade. But just in looking at all the other ones, seemed like they were pretty even in my mind. It's all going to be difficult with knowing the contracts on how it pans out, but that's kind of with this being a newer league and a new format, just that's a risk early on trading that contracts with others when maybe you had the mindset going in there of getting that team, but now you're spending what somebody else spent on it.
True. And you guys, I know you guys weren't available, but did you have any trades that you were looking at, or is there any teams you wanted to move around?
I mean, Anthony, you want to start?
I didn't necessarily. I mean, I looked at it. I didn't have any teams I wanted to move around. I mean, I have one, but nobody's going to trade me for the Rockies. But other than that, I'm kind of a couple teams that I know is going to do well, kind of this year, and then a few more that I know years 3 and 4 they're going to be pretty good. I just have a hunch, so I didn't necessarily want to risk losing them and losing out when they do become very good.
Yeah, and I think when I looked at it, I don't know, I kind of thought on a couple teams I might want to trade, but in the kind of the whole overview of looking at it, I didn't want to, I don't know, I was comfortable with what I drafted, but unfortunately it wasn't available to see what everybody was giving up then, but I was kind of comfortable with what I had.
So you weren't stressing it.
No, I'm not stressing. I think there is a team or two that I might have not put that money on, but also we've only went through really the one league.
Right.
I've been happy with that. I still feel like with Houston, there's, I don't know, that division, you never know with how the Angels and the Mariners are playing. They already got rid of Bregman, so I was kind of worried about that, but they're actually playing decent with some of their younger guys, and they lost Kyle Tucker too, so they still held up on that part of it. But with looking at football coming up, I feel comfortable on that end of it.
I just brought that up because with the free agents coming up for the football, trying to figure out who's actually going to be players in it, like who's actually going to be bidding. So we know that your biggest competitor so far this year, based upon the current standings, is Colin, and he maxed during the trading. He maxed out 11 teams, so we know he's not going to be a factor in football. I likely won't be just because I don't know much about it and don't really want to go there. So, do you guys expect to be active?
I mean, I think I'll probably pick up a team or two here. I mean, I have to go. I haven't looked really to see what's available and then kind of seeing what I want, but I'll probably pick up a team or two.
Yeah, and I'll definitely look at it. It's one of those that, do I want to take that risk? Right now I'm towards the top, but when I look at somebody like Colin that has maxed out on his teams, that's a different strategy. You never know if that's going to come back and bite him on some of the ones struggling, but yeah, I'll definitely be looking at teams. We'll see if I actually, pull the trigger on getting one or two more.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's going to be some pretty nice bargains. I mean, the last time we did it just for baseball, there was only a couple bids, and he ended up getting the Tigers from it for $2. So don't discount free agency.
That's one that might bite several people just in getting it for that. That's a good value.
All right. So what teams do you think guys think are interesting for whatever reason you want.
I think
For NFL,
Yeah, for NFL.
do you just want? I mean, can you go through and kind of name off remaining ones?
I mean, it doesn't. Well, you just want to do one off of free agency? Okay, I can do that.
Yeah, I figured that would be. I mean, we're not.
Yeah, we can do free agency.
All right, so I got the Buccaneers, the Seahawks, the Bengals, Cardinals, Colts, Dolphins, Jets, Saints, Raiders, Jaguars, Browns, Titans, and Giants.
I think they can go either way, but
Yeah, just
I
whatever
think
you
the
think is.
Jets- I
What
think
do you think is
the
interesting?
Jets are pretty interesting just because they have a good defense. They had Aaron Rodgers last year, but he didn't have much protection. The coach wasn't necessarily respected at all. But they do have a good defense, and now they got his name escapes me, but the old quarterback from Pittsburgh and the Bears.
Fields.
Yeah, Fields. He can run around and scramble. So
Pretty sure he's already got hurt.
yeah,
Seriously?
he's nothing serious. But
Yeah.
he's probably not going to play much preseason just because of that. He had that scare. But he's a mobile quarterback, and he doesn't necessarily need the offensive line. He's got some young receivers. He's got several young running backs. So they could be a pretty interesting team to watch.
Yeah, and one I would say it's almost similar to the Raiders, but the Giants you mentioned in there, they've got kind of they got a new quarterback coming in, and they have one of the top young receivers that can be that X factor. But they're ones that they're in a division with the Commanders and the Eagles, and I wouldn't say the Cowboys aren't as much of a threat, but that's still three solid teams that you're playing twice a year, and so you could easily get 5 or 6 losses out of that. But I think the Giants could be a surprise.
So you think the Cowboys aren't going to be doing that much this year?
Part of me, I mean, so some of this I look at it as the heart, and then some of it I look at it as watching them play. You don't know with Dak. Dak he's a question mark. One, he's just had injuries, and then he's had so much talent around him that every year it seems like they've got the same kind of system. And I don't think he has as strong of the O-line as what he did. But
No, he doesn't.
and that's what worries me is not having that strong O-line for somebody that's got hurt and makes mistakes is not very good for a offense.
And more and more every year, a lot of the players are starting to hate the owner, Jerry Jones, and you're having players that really don't want to play for him, don't want to play for the coaches he chooses, because he's still trying to run the team. It's becoming basically a circus with that team. So yeah, I don't foresee a great season out of Dallas.
And you got to look at with who they play against. Was what I said on the offense. They go against an Eagles defense and the Commanders. That's two top defenses that would give you trouble. So kind of like what I said with the Giants, you're having to play these teams twice. I just think that Dallas is, probably that third team.
And he currently doesn't want to pay his best defensive player, who's currently planning to sit out until he gets paid. So
yeah, that didn't help the situation either.
Interesting. So another thing I want to ask you guys too is this is something we discussed a little bit. How do you guys feel about having a buyout for one of your teams? We'd only allow one buyout, and then it would be I don't know. We'd probably be kind of weak on it. You'd have to have some type of penalty, so you wouldn't be totally out of it. But like, I'd just say, for example, let me just pull up Aaron's. Let's just say, for example, the Texans. Like, you're just like, I don't want the Texans anymore. And they're like a minus
Yeah.
4 at this point, and I just don't want them anymore. Well, we'd have certain buyout periods where you could just say you don't want them, you're going to drop them, and you're going to pay a penalty for probably a quarter of what you have right now. So you're like at 8, you'd be paying 2 for as long as you have it. I mean, it wouldn't disappear, but you'd have to pay less, and it would take the value off your team. But you could only have one. I'm thinking you can only have one because if you had a lot, then people would just be like piling them up. What do you think about that?
So could we not where it's at the end of their season? Because I almost feel like, I mean, if you're doing it once, I think people would steer more towards that, using it just on a bad season compared to waiting until it's over with. And let's say you've got 3 more years remaining, then you get out of it. So I mean, that's 2 ways to look at it. If you're gonna buy out of it actively in the season, and they're looking at a -5.
That's some crap, is
That
what
would
you're
be-
saying. Like they shouldn't be able to do that, is what you're saying.
I'm not. I just think that's what it's going to be used for if you can use it during the season compared to if the season's over with, and it's kind of like free agency period. You could do it where NFL's over, and then anybody I want to get out of the Texans, then I would get out of it then. But I've got 4 years left on the contract. Now I would still say I don't know how you would do a penalty. But maybe 10th of the, I don't know how much you spend or something. That way you're having to, I guess there'd be like dead cap space until that contract's up.
Yeah. And you can only have one at a time. That's the thing. You can only have one at a time. So probably the best time to do that would be before the next season starts. So before 2026 starts, you can buy out a team that affects 2026, but not 2025, right? That makes the most sense.
Yeah, I mean, like Aaron said, I think whatever buyout you decided, you're in for that. Like, say, as a baseball team, you can buy out, but it still counts towards that baseball season. And then once that baseball season ends, then you can drop them or whatever, do the buyout.
Right. But I mean, it's still going to carry like all your points or whatever, or their value is going to be carried through the entire season because, just because baseball's over doesn't mean it's not going to count to the total at the very end. So you don't want to, you want to make sure it's once you've got them in there, they're in, right? Once the season starts, you got them to the end.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
And that's why I said depending on how you used it, if you did it during, if it's a trading period, people aren't going to use it. They're going to have to deal with it for the year they had it. And then they might look at it where, are they going to be good for another 3 years? Or what I thought was going to be, I'm not getting much value out of it. People would get out of it after that contract instead of going, oh, crap, I'm a -4. I just want to get out of this.
Yeah, and then
I mean, 2 ways to look at it, how you would do it. But if you only have once,
yeah, and you don't want it to affect the total score right there at the end either. Like, I'm going to drop 4 and then push myself up 4 points right at the end to win it. So you can't do that.
Like an example, like somebody should want to do it is like if you drafted Dallas for 4 or the Mavericks for 4 or 5 years, and then you saw that they let Luka go. At the time, you're probably like, well, I don't even want this team anymore.
Right.
And so you do a buyout, and that season still counts against you. But hey, you're not going to be in trouble the next 3 or 4 years where you had them for.
Speaking of that, what's funny about that you bring that up is that my buddy John, before I did this, and John's amazing at fantasy sports. But whenever he started doing this, he was absolutely 100% convinced that if you look at his stuff, 100% convinced that you had to get your stuff for 5 years each time. He had this list of like 30 teams. He's like, they're all worth 5 years. I'm like, I didn't believe that at all. I was like, you're crazy. Anyways, you talk about that Luka thing. He doesn't have them. I have the Mavericks, but he has the Celtics, and he paid 66 for them for 5 years. And didn't they trade away like half their team, and they also have major injury?
I mean, Tatum's out for, most of this year, and who knows if he comes back the same way he was.
And they traded a couple players too, didn't they? Is that not true?
Yeah. I mean, they still kept Brown as their, main guy.
To sell,
Porzingis is gone.
to put people in the seats, basically.
Yeah. But you would think maybe they'll make moves. I don't know. Yeah, I just think they're
And then Doug with the Dallas, I mean, the NBA kind of rigged the system, and they magically got the number 1 pick and a couple draft picks. So their future is bright. Maybe not next year, but the year after and a couple years after, their future is bright because they got a ton of draft picks.
And how many spots did he jump? They jumped to get that pick, like 10, 12? The first overall pick? It was a lot.
I forget. I know they weren't supposed to be close to it.
Well, I had the Mavericks, and all of a sudden Matt was asking me for it at the trading day, so I was like, well, but I couldn't make anything work. But yeah, that was funny. All right, I'm good, guys. Unless there's anything else you want to add.
I'm good.
Nope. Good.